What's up, guys? Today we're going to be opening up Spyro. This figure is NECA's Spyro the Dragon figure. This has quite a bit of articulation. This looks awesome. I can't wait to open it and actually look at it. I've always loved the Spyro games. Most people are only a fan of 1 and 2, and some of 1, 2, and 3. I'm a fan of all of them. I mean, the Game Boy Advance ones, you know, Spyro Orange and all that, or when they changed it was Spyro Orange, Season of the Flames, and all that stuff, the PlayStation 2 games, everything. It wasn't until they became part of the Skylanders, that's when Spyro kind of changed, and I just didn't like what he was, and he wasn't even the main character anymore. It used to be Spyro and Skylanders, and then slowly it was just only about the Skylanders, and they kind of phased out Spyro. Which in a way I'm kind of glad, because I just didn't like the fact that Spyro was associated with them, even though it started with Spyro and then moved on from there. But other than that, you know, I loved everything about Spyro. And so when I saw that NECA released this, I had to pick it up. It took me a while to review it. It's kind of been here, sitting there for a while, but now I'm finally opening and reviewing it. So yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at the front. You have the figure, you have his logo up here across the top. You have Spyro the Dragon here, a picture of Spyro. And then on the back, you have just a picture of, you know, the figure. You have Spyro the Dragon here. You can see you got NECA up here in the top corner. And then right here at the back, it says the adventurous young dragon Spyro has returned based on the classic video games. Spyro is ready to travel the homeworlds and save the day in action figure form. With plenty of articulation for great poses, you can relive all your favorite Spyro moments. It does not say how many points of articulation is on here, but just looking at the figure, it looks like there's quite a bit. So let's go ahead and take a look inside and see how this figure looks. Okay, so now that we have him out of the box, first off, he does feel a little stiff, and coming out of the box he does kind of stand a little awkward, so he's very wobbly, but you know, just some movement around kind of will get him squared up right. So there's quite a bit of articulation now that I'm looking at it. You have, you know, right here, right above his shoulders, you got his neck, the wings, his hips, the legs, the tail has quite a bit of different points of articulation on the tail. So I mean, it could do full-on movement. So I mean, yeah, there's a lot of articulation on this figure. So let's go ahead and just do a quick overlook of the figure. So I'm loving the head sculpt. This head sculpt looks amazing. There's a few little issues if it's hard to kind of pick up, like here on his cheeks, you can see some major weird lines coming up. There's a big hole right here, like the plastic didn't fully go through. Other than that, like, everything looks really good. I love the look of his horns. I love how they have like the lighter colors right here on his arm and his back leg. I feel like the paint for the underneath right here, this whole thing could have been a lot better. It does look very poorly painted almost. I don't know, it's hard to tell like the words I'm looking for. Like, it's not poorly painted. You can tell it's a figure. It doesn't have a realistic look, you know? Like, this looks really good and realistic. And then under here, you can tell it's just quickly painted plastic. Same thing with the tip of his tail. It's just something about it just doesn't look right. The wings look really good. Oh, okay. So the wings are they articulated? They are, okay. So they just don't want to move really. The wings are very stiff. So this figure is actually really stiff. Like, I can't move his back legs at all, but I can tell they're articulated. There's a little bit of movement to them, but not much. So let's go ahead and take a look through of what articulation there is on here. So as I said, you have the head articulation, full rotation, up and down, side to side, all that good stuff. The wings should be articulating. As you can kind of look in right there, you see the hinge for the articulation of the wings, but they don't want to move. Like, this is not articulating, it's just bending right here. You can see how it's bent. So Right here you got on his chest, articulation, but not too much. It's very stiff. I can hear this. As you try to turn it, it's extremely stiff. But most NECA figures are pretty stiff. Which in a way that is a good thing, because when they're stiff like this, there's a way you can loosen them. But if they're loose, there's no real way of retightening the joints, you know? So I'd rather have stiff figures that can slowly get a little bit loosened over time and be good to use. Front arms work good. You have articulation right here in the wrist, up and down, do a full spin. You got hip articulation, not a full swivel. It probably could, but it gets real tight and it kind of pops, so I don't want to move that too much. Back legs, again, same thing with the front, but they're stiff and don't want to move. You got the back and forward of our ankle articulation right here and a full rotation. Go all the way around. There you go. Now let's see, the tail has multiple points. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 points of articulation on the tail, and the tip right here also has some articulation to it. So you can actually get a full-on wave movement of the tail, which is really cool. All in all, I think this is a really good figure. Like I said, the bright right here, all the way down his whole stomach and the bottom of his tail, the painting just doesn't look right on it. I mean, they could have done a lot better with that, but other than that, I really like this figure. It's a really good figure. I just wish it wasn't super tight like the way it is, but that's the only like minor issues, is just how tight it is, and the paint on the bottom doesn't look quite as good. Get him a stand just like that. So yeah, I mean, this is a really good figure. It's what to be expected from figures from NECA. You can full on bend the tail back, have it straight. That's about as far down as it goes. You can even go side. You can see right here, you can go side to side. So I mean, the tail is quite easily articulated all over the place, and it stays in place where you put it. The head stays in place where you put it. So I mean, it's good figure, and it's got a good weight to it. It's not too heavy, and it's not too light. And even though his head is up here, and it does have quite a bit of weight on the head, it's not very front heavy to where it wants to fall forward all the time. I've seen a lot of like four-legged animals figures that stay like this that would want to, you know, just tip forward. Like it took me a lot of effort to get it forward. So it's very balanced. It feels great in hand, not very heavy, but it's not like a really light figure. This is an amazing figure. I 100% recommend picking this up if you're a fan of Spyro. Definitely worth picking this up. So yeah, so I will leave a link in the description down below where you can be able to pick up your own Spyro figure. So make sure to check that out. And also make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. That really help out the channel. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.